It begins, as it always does, with a flicker of warmth in the cold, a notification on a screen, a laugh that seems meant only for you, a moment where you feel truly seen. You don't notice the vast, empty darkness you were living in until her light appears at its edge, and you, without thinking, begin to move toward it. The world outside that single point of light dissolves into irrelevant shadow. Your work, your friends, your own thoughts, they become gray and dimensionless. All that matters is the glow. And that is when the fable begins. You find yourself in a room so cavernous and dark you cannot see the walls. The air is thick with the scent of old velvet and ozone. In the center of this infinite space, she stands. She is not a woman of flesh and blood anymore. She is the keeper of a single, perfect flame. It rests on a simple stone pedestal, dancing with a life of its own, painting her face in hues of gold and crimson. And you are no longer a man. You have become a creature of instinct, a moth drawn by a force older than reason. Your only purpose is to get closer to that impossible warmth. You move through the crushing silence, your wings stirring dust that has not been disturbed for centuries. As you draw near, you feel the heat on your antennae, a blissful promise of arrival, of merging, of an end to the cold. But just as you are about to touch it, she moves. Her gesture is not violent, it is impossibly gentle. She lowers a glass jar over you. Suddenly, the world is muted. The heat is still there. You can see it. You can feel its phantom touch through the invisible wall, but you cannot reach it. You press against the glass, Hisa, your delicate wings, leaving trails of silver dust. You watch her through the distortion. She doesn't look at you with malice. She looks at you with a kind of detached pity, the way a scientist might observe a specimen. She is studying the nature of your wanting. Then, just as you begin to exhaust yourself, just as the hope starts to decay into a cold certainty of your prison, she lifts the jar. You are free. You surge forward, clumsy with desperation. This time, she lets you get closer. You can feel the heat singe the fine hairs on your wings, a sharp, ecstatic pain. This is it. This is communion. But before you can be consumed, before you can finally surrender to the fire, the glass descends again. She has saved you. She has imprisoned you. Which is it? The cycle repeats. Days, weeks, years. You no longer know. Time is measured only in the space between the lifting and the lowering of the glass. The brief, agonizing taste of warmth, and the long, clear torment of separation. She gives you just enough to keep you alive, and takes away just enough to keep you broken. You learn to love the prison because it is the only place from which you can view the flame. You learn to love the pain because it is the only proof of the light's existence. You have forgotten the darkness you came from, and you cannot imagine a world beyond this room, beyond this cycle of hope and its withdrawal. But one day, something different happens. After a long spell in the cold, she lifts the jar, and she does not lower it. She steps back from the pedestal, leaving the path to the flame entirely open. This is the moment you have bled for, the moment you have dreamed of in your glass-walled sleep. It is your salvation or your annihilation. You no longer care which. You fly towards it with everything you have left. You close your eyes, ready for the purifying fire. You hit it, but there is no heat. There is no blaze. There is only a faint click. You open your eyes. You are clinging to the side of a cold glass bulb. The flame was never real. It was a trick of light, a clever projection from a hidden lens, casting the illusion of warmth onto a dead surface. The keeper wasn't protecting you from the flame. She was protecting the illusion of the flame from you. Her power was never in the light she offered, but in the distance she maintained. The warmth you felt was never hers to give. It was the friction of your own desperate wings, the heat of your own manufactured hope, burning you alive in the dark. The ancients would have called this being bewitched. Modern psychology gives it a colder, more clinical name: intermittent reinforcement. The unpredictable schedule of reward and punishment is the most powerful force for creating addiction. It is the engine of obsession, turning a simple desire into a blind biological imperative. It is the architect of the cage you built for yourself. You are left in the center of the vast, dark room. The false light is extinguished. The keeper is gone. You are completely, utterly alone with the truth. The cage was never locked. It was just more beautiful than the darkness outside. What unspoken bargains have you made with your own reflection? We tell ourselves stories about who we are, about who they are, about what this is. These narratives are the fragile scaffolding of our relationships, built on unspoken agreements and carefully curated silences. We see what we want to see, and we allow them to see what we want them to believe. It is a mutual performance, a delicate dance of omission. But what happens when the cracks begin to show in the mirror of perception? What happens when the stories no longer align with the distorted reflections staring back? Imagine a grand masquerade ball. The chandeliers cast a hazy golden light across a swirling mass of masked figures in opulent costumes. You are there, and across the crowded floor, you see her. Her mask is exquisite, a delicate porcelain creation that hides her true features, hinting at a beauty both alluring and dangerous. Her gown flows like liquid night, and the way she moves suggests a hidden fire beneath the surface. You are drawn to her, not for who she is, but for the mystery she embodies, the promise her carefully constructed image projects. You approach her, and you too wear a mask. Perhaps it is the mask of confidence, of wit, of effortless charm. You exchange veiled words, flirtatious glances that promise a deeper connection beneath the superficiality of the ball. You dance, your movements a carefully choreographed display of mutual interest. You do not speak of your fears, your insecurities, the messy realities of your lives outside this shimmering illusion. You speak only of possibilities, of shared desires, of the enchanting spell woven by the night. As the evening progresses, you find yourselves in a secluded balcony, overlooking the glittering city. The masks remain in place, but the air thickens with an unspoken tension. You both know that this enchanted interlude must eventually end, yet neither of you wants to break the spell. So you engage in the silent agreement. You will not ask too many questions. You will not probe too deeply. You will accept the facade, the carefully constructed persona, because it is more appealing than the unknown truth that lies beneath. You part ways at dawn, a lingering touch of hands, a promise of future encounters hanging in the air. You do not see her remove her mask as she disappears into the morning light. You do not see the weary sadness in her eyes, the relief in shedding the weight of the performance, and she does not see you return to your empty room. The hollowness that settles in once the adrenaline of the masquerade fades. The fable continues long after the ball is over. You meet again and again. Each time, the masks remain. You build a relationship on the foundation of these carefully curated images, these mutual deceptions. You fall in love with the idea of each other, with the projections of your own desires onto a carefully blank canvas. The cracks in the mirror of perception begin to appear in fleeting moments. A flicker of sadness in her eyes that doesn't match her words. A defensiveness in your tone when a vulnerable truth threatens to surface. But you both look away. You both pretend not to see them. The silent agreement holds, because the alternative, the messy, uncomfortable work of confronting the unmasked truth, feels far too dangerous. Then, one day, the mirror shatters. Perhaps it is a harsh word spoken in anger, a secret revealed, a moment of raw vulnerability that cracks the polished surface. The distorted reflections splinter into a million and jagged pieces. You finally see each other, unmasked, flawed, real. And the image is often terrifying. The connection, built on illusion, crumbles. The love you thought was real dissolves like a dream. You are left with the shards of your shattered perceptions, wondering who the stranger is standing before you, and who the stranger is you have been pretending to be. The ancients believed that our reflection was a part of our soul, easily stolen or damaged. Today, psychology understands this shattered image as cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding two conflicting beliefs, the idealized image of your partner and the reality of who they are, forces you to choose. You either adjust your perception of reality, clinging to the illusion, or you confront the painful truth and allow the image to break. The silent agreement is a desperate attempt to avoid this dissonance, even if it means living a lie. You pick up a shard of the broken mirror. It reflects a distorted version of your own face. The question is, which reflection are you more afraid of? The flawed reality or the perfect lie? What phantom blooms are you desperately trying to cultivate in the barren soil of the past? The past. It is a garden we all carry within us, filled with memories, both beautiful and painful. But some of us become trapped in its withered rose, obsessively tending to what is dead and gone, neglecting the possibility of new growth in the present. We become the gardeners of our own regret, watering the ghost of what might have been with the tears of what is. And in this desolate landscape, desire can become the most poisonous weed of all. Imagine a vast, arid plain under a perpetual twilight ski. The ground is cracked and dry. The wind whispers mournful tales through skeletal trees. In the heart of this desolate place lies a garden. But this is no ordinary garden. It is filled with the remnants of lost opportunities, unspoken words, and paths not taken. The plants are brittle and brown, their leaves crumbling to dust at the slightest touch. Yet, a lone figure toils endlessly amongst them. This is the gardener of regret. The gardener remembers a time when the garden was lush and vibrant, a time when laughter echoed through its paths and the air was thick with the scent of blossoming hopes. But a choice was made, a word was spoken, a moment was missed, and slowly, inexorably, the garden began to wither. Now, the gardener spends every waking moment trying to revive what is dead. They prune the brittle branches of what might have been. They water the cracked earth of if only with the bitter tears of their present sorrow. Among the withered plants, there is one that the gardener tends to with particular devotion. A single rose bush. Its thorns are sharp and unforgiving, its stem gnarled and weak. Once, it had promised the most beautiful bloom, a symbol of a love that flickered and died. The gardener remembers the anticipation, The almost open petals, the intoxicating fragrance that never fully materialized. Now, the bush remains stubbornly barren, a constant reminder of a desire that was never fulfilled. One day, a traveler stumbles upon this desolate garden. Weary and parched, they approach the gardener and ask for water. The gardener, lost in their endless tending, barely acknowledges their presence. They continue to cup their hands, catching the few meager tears that fall, and pour them onto the dry soil around the lifeless rose. Why do you waste your tears on what is dead? The traveler asks gently. Look around you. The ground is barren. Nothing can grow here anymore. The gardener stops, their gaze fixed on the unyielding rose. But it could have bloomed, they whisper, their voice hoarse with years of unshed grief. It was so close. If only. The traveler looks beyond the withered garden to the horizon, where a faint glimmer of dawn is beginning to break. The sun is rising, they say. There is still time to plant new seeds in fertile ground, but you must first let go of the ghosts of your past. The gardener looks from the barren rose to the traveler's outstretched hand. For a moment, a flicker of something other than regret, perhaps a nascent hope, appears in their eyes. But then, their gaze returns to the dead bloom, the desire for what could have been too strong, the phantom fragrance of the unbloomed rose too intoxicating. No, the gardener says, finally, turning back to their task. I must keep trying. One day, it will bloom. One day. The traveler sighs and turns to leave, disappearing into the growing light. The gardener remains alone in the twilight, forever bound to the desolate garden of their past, forever watering the ghosts of their unfulfilled desires. The vibrant red rose never blooms, and the gardener never sees the dawn. The ancients spoke of the pain of longing, an ache that consumes the soul. Today, we understand this as the psychological trap of counterfactual thinking. We become fixated on alternative scenarios, on what-ifs that keep us tethered to the past, preventing us from fully engaging with the present. The unfulfilled desire becomes a phantom limb, causing persistent pain in a place that no longer exists. You look at your own inner garden. Are you cultivating the barren ground of regret, watering dead possibilities with your precious present? Or are you brave enough to let go of the past and plant new seeds in the fertile soil of today? The choice, like the bloom, is yours. Whose voices are you holding captive in the fragile jars of your own memory? Words have power. They can build bridges or burn them, heal wounds or inflict them. But once spoken, they are often thought to be gone, carried away on the wind. Yet, some of us become collectors of these ephemeral fragments, hoarding the echoes of past interactions, replaying them endlessly in the silent chambers of our minds. We become prisoners of the very words that were once spoken to us or by us. And in this collection, shame often becomes the loudest, most persistent echo. Imagine a colossal, subterranean chamber, its walls stretching into an unseen darkness. The air within hums with a constant, low murmur, the sound of countless voices speaking at once, yet none of them entirely clear. These are the echoes of every conversation that has ever taken place, every secret whispered, every harsh word flung in anger, every tender confession uttered in love. In the center of this echoing abyss stands a solitary figure, the collector. The collector moves silently through the chamber, their movements precise and deliberate. They carry a vast array of delicate glass jars of all shapes and sizes. When a particularly distinct echo drifts by, a stinging insult, a dismissive laugh, a moment of profound vulnerability. The collector carefully captures it in a jar, sealing it with a stopper of polished obsidian. Each jar is then meticulously labeled with the date, the context, the voice that spoke the words. The collector never speaks themselves, they only listen. They are surrounded by the cacophony of captured voices, yet they remain isolated, lost in the labyrinth of other people's words. Their own voice seems to have atrophied from disuse, drowned out by the constant replay of past interactions. Among the collector's most prized possessions are the jars filled with the echoes of shame. These are often the loudest, the most persistent, the memory of a humiliating mistake, a moment of social awkwardness, a time when they felt exposed and inadequate. These echoes are replayed again and again, each repetition reinforcing the original feeling of shame, preventing it from fading with time. One day, another figure wanders into the echoing chamber. They are drawn by the strange, persistent murmur. They see the collector, surrounded by their silent, bottled voices. "Why do you collect these echoes?" the newcomer asks, their voice clear and resonant in the muffled atmosphere. "Why do you hold on to the words of the past?" The collector does not answer verbally. Instead, they pick up one of the jars filled with the echoes of shame and hold it out. The newcomer can hear the faint whisper of a critical voice, the echo of a moment of public embarrassment. "These words no longer have power unless you give them power," the newcomer says gently. "They are just sounds, vibrations in the air, captured in glass. You are the one who keeps them alive by listening to them, by replaying them in your mind." The collector looks at the jar, then at the vast collection that surrounds them. Their life has become defined by these captured moments, by the weight of other people's words. They have become a curator of their own shame, trapped in a museum of past humiliations. The newcomer reaches out and takes one of the unlabeled, empty jars from the collector's hand. "Why not collect new sounds?" they suggest. "The sound of your own laughter, the sound of your own voice, speaking your own truth, the sound of silence, of peace." The collector looks at the empty jar, then back at the newcomer. For a long moment, they remain silent. Then, slowly, hesitantly, they reach out and take another empty jar. Perhaps, just perhaps, it is not too late to start a new collection. Perhaps, one day, their own voice might finally be heard above the din of the past. But the chamber is vast, and the echoes of shame are deeply ingrained. The journey to silence them will be long and arduous. The ancients believed that words could cast spells, binding us to the past. Today, psychology recognizes the insidious power of internalized shame. The negative judgments and criticisms we have received throughout our lives become internalized voices, constantly replaying in our minds, shaping our self-perception and limiting our potential. We become collectors of these psychic wounds, holding on to them long after the original interaction has faded. Consider the echoes you carry within you. Whose voices are they? What stories are they telling? And are you ready to break the jars and finally silence the ghosts of your past? The key to your own voice lies in letting go of the echoes that no longer serve you. What invisible maps are you following in your relentless pursuit of what remains just out of reach? We are creatures of desire. We yearn for connection, for understanding, for a sense of belonging. This longing can be a powerful motivator, driving us to seek out new experiences and forge meaningful relationships. But sometimes, this innate desire can become distorted, leading us on an endless quest for something ill-defined, something that constantly shifts just beyond our grasp. We become cartographers of our own longing, charting paths across invisible landscapes, forever searching for a destination that may not even exist. Imagine a boundless expanse of swirling nebulae and distant galaxies. Within this cosmic ocean floats a single, intricately drawn map. Its lines are not of ink, but of shimmering stardust. Its symbols not of cities or continents, but of abstract feelings. The warmth of shared laughter, the comfort of understanding, the intoxicating pull of attraction. This is the map of longing. Across this ethereal cartography, countless individuals trace invisible paths with trembling fingers. They are the navigators of their own desires, guided by an internal compass that constantly points towards some elusive there. They seek the mythical islands of perfect connection, the uncharted territories of unconditional love, the shimmering oases of complete fulfillment. One such navigator is particularly driven. Their finger traces a complex route across the map, a path filled with detours, crossings, and dead ends. They have followed this map for what feels like an eternity, their journey fueled by a persistent ache of longing. They have chased fleeting glimpses of connection that dissolved upon closer approach. They have invested their hearts in relationships that promised everything but ultimately delivered only disappointment. Yet they continue to follow the map, convinced that if they just navigate correctly, if they just take the right turn, they will finally arrive at their desired destination. The landscapes they traverse are often deceptive. What appears on the map as a clear path to intimacy turns out to be a treacherous bog of unspoken expectations. The shimmering promise of belonging leads to crowded, lonely shores. The carefully marked route to understanding ends abruptly at a chasm of miscommunication, but the navigator persists, endlessly redrawing the map based on their latest experiences, convinced that the flaw lies not in the map itself, but in their interpretation of it. They believe that if they just refine their understanding of the symbols, if they just learn to read the subtle shifts in the stardust lines, they will finally unlock the secret to their longing. One day, weary and disheartened, the navigator pauses. They look down at the map, at the intricate web of paths they have followed, and a profound realization begins to dawn. The map is not a guide to a real place. It is a reflection of their own internal state, a projection of their deepest desires and insecurities. The destination they seek are not locations to be found, but states of being to be cultivated within themselves. The longing they feel is not a signpost pointing them outwards, but an internal compass indicating a need for self-acceptance, for self-love, for a sense of wholeness that cannot be found in another person or another experience. The map, with all its intricate details, is ultimately a beautiful illusion, a testament to the human capacity for hope and the persistent yearning for something more. Slowly, the navigator lowers their hand. The shimmering lines of the map of longing begin to fade, the stardust dissolving back into the cosmic dust from which it came. For the first time, the navigator looks not at the imagined destinations on a phantom map, but at the vast, breathtaking reality that surrounds them. And in that moment, a different kind of longing begins to stir, a longing for presence, for acceptance, for the quiet beauty of the here and now. The journey is not over, but the map has finally been set aside. The ancients believed in the concept of the wanderlust soul, forever seeking a home it could never find. Today, psychology describes this as unmet attachment needs, the deep-seated desire for secure and loving connections. when not adequately met in early life, can manifest as a persistent longing in adulthood, leading us to seek external validation and fulfillment in ways that are ultimately unsatisfying. We create elaborate mental maps in our quest for this elusive connection, often overlooking the most important journey, the one inwards. Examine the maps you carry within you. What are you truly searching for? And is it possible that the destination you seek is not out there, waiting to be found, but in here, waiting to be embraced? Perhaps the greatest journey is not across a map of longing, but into the uncharted territories of your own heart.